We spend our entire lives trying to numb our brains, trying to block out the real world with screens, content, and noise. But the other night, I'm numbing myself for literally 3 seconds is the only reason I'm not dead or in the back of some dude's trunk right now. So I go on this late night run pretty often. The streets are dead quiet, nobody's out. I have my AirPods in, music blasting. I'm in my own world. One of those runs where your legs just feel like you're on autopilot. I was basically in full NPC mode, just totally checked out of reality. It wasn't a sound, and I didn't see anything out of the corner of my eye. It was like this pure animal gut feeling that told me, take your right AirPod out. I don't know why. I genuinely couldn't tell you why my brain fired that signal. I just popped the right one out, left one still in. 3 seconds later, I hear him. Fast steps, not jogging, sprinting directly behind me. I look back and there's this guy, full sprint, charging at me. My first thought is the classic societal gaslighting thought, like, oh, he's just on a night run too, don't be weird, don't make this a scene. We're all so terrified of being perceived as cringe or dramatic that we'll literally ignore a threat. So I'm in the middle of the road and I shift left to give him some space, and he moves left. That's when my stomach dropped, because that's not a coincidence. You don't shadow someone's movement at a full sprint in the dark by accident. That's a predator. So I start running, proper running. I'm pretty deep into my run, so I'm tired, but adrenaline's just got me. And I look back and he's close, like 3 meters close. I can literally hear this dude breathing. And I don't know if it was just panic or thousands of years of ancestral survival instincts taking the wheel, but I hit him with his hard sidestepped. I just stopped dead. It's completely black and I'm by this tree, and I guess he just couldn't render the distance in time and he fumbles, completely eats shit and trips over himself. And now he's in front of me. And I'm just standing there, we're looking at each other in the middle of this empty, dark road, dead silence. I'll never forget that moment. Just looking at this guy, not knowing what he's about to do, not knowing what I'm about to do. I realized in that split second, real life doesn't have a soundtrack. There's no music playing, just me, some absolute lunatic in the street. And then he gets up and he leaps at me. I didn't even think, I just bolted back the way I came. And I am flying like I've never in my life moved that fast. I look back and he's still coming. I look back again, 30 meters. I got 30 meters on him. I didn't stop and it all happened so quick. One moment he's behind me and the next I'm just at the door frantically trying to open the lock. I didn't stop and I didn't slow down. I didn't even look back until I locked the front door. I just stood there in the hallway, heart absolutely pounding out of my chest, trying to process what just happened. Because if I hadn't have taken that AirPod out, I don't hear him coming, he doesn't trip, and I'm not making this video. But what really messes with my head when I replay it is that initial thought I had, don't be weird, he's just jogging. I was literally about to let a predator jog up to my spine just so I wouldn't look like a paranoid weirdo to a complete stranger. Think about how insane that is. The fear of being cringe almost killed me. We're so brainwashed by society to stay in that average little box, to not step out of line, to not offend anyone, that we prioritize social etiquette over our own survival. You'd literally rather get kidnapped than have someone think you're being dramatic. It's a literal psyop. The modern world punishes you for overreacting, so we've trained ourselves to underreact to everything. And where did that gut feeling even come from anyway? In a world where we're constantly plugged in, always scrolling, or always drowning out our own thoughts with podcasts and music, we're always silencing the one thing that actually protects us. Our ancestors survived in the wild because they were hyper-aware. They had this biological swag. They could literally feel when a tiger was looking at them. Now we outsource our safety to our phones. We think because we have Life 360 on, or because we share our location, or we can dial an Uber, that we're safe. A GPS pin just tells the cops where your phone ended up. It does absolutely nothing to stop the guy sprinting at you in the dark. We literally pay tech companies $300 for active noise cancelling so we can voluntarily deafen ourselves in public. We traded our biological CCTV for a digital pacifier. The day after this happened, I had to walk into the city, and because my head was on a swivel and my adrenaline was probably still spiked, I was actually observing people instead of just looking at my phone, and it's terrifying. I was at this busy intersection, and I realized like 80% of the people crossing the street were either looking down at their phone or they had massive over-ear headphones on, completely oblivious to their surroundings. I literally watched a dude almost get completely cooked by a delivery e-bike because he was scrolling on his phone while stepping off the curb. But the part that's crazy is nobody even flinched. He just stepped back, kept scrolling, and walked off like nothing happened. Like he didn't just nearly die. It's like we've all agreed to participate in this mass sensory deprivation tank. We wander around like zombies, pretending the physical world doesn't exist as long as we have a screen to look at. And the irony is, I bet half those people walking around in the dark with noise-cancelling headphones are listening to true crime podcasts. Like, bro, you're actively auditioning for episode 45. You're making yourself the perfect prey while listening to a podcast about prey. Man, I can't even sit there and judge them, because I was the king of this. I used to be so uncomfortable with silence that I couldn't even walk to the shops to get something without having YouTube playing in my pocket. I remember being on the subway at like 1 a.m. with the sketchiest vibes ever, just crackheads all around, and I'm staring at my screen watching a dude build a dirt hut in the middle of the jungle. I was prioritizing a dopamine hit over my own physical safety because reading the room was too tense. But why do we do that? Reality is uncomfortable, but so is being alone with your thoughts. Being hyper-aware of the weirdos on the street is uncomfortable too. The internet provides this little safe bubble of content that tricks your brain into thinking you're sitting on your couch, even when you're literally surrounded by threats. But the people who want to do you harm, they aren't in a bubble. They live in reality and they're hunting for the people who are checked out. And again, this ties back into the whole system, the algorithm, the tech companies. They want you plugged in 24/7. A brain that's constantly consuming is a brain that isn't asking questions. It's a brain that isn't noticing its surroundings. If you're totally pacified by Spotify and TikTok, you're the perfect compliant citizen. You're easy to sell to and easy to manipulate. And I'm not saying you need to walk around paranoid like Jason Bourne, thinking everyone's an op. And I'm not going to sit here to tell you to throw your AirPods in the trash. I still have mine and I use them every day. But you have to start dual-wielding your awareness. You have to reactivate that ancestral software. If something feels off, it's off. Stop gaslighting yourself into being polite. If your gut says cross the street because the vibe is weird, you cross the street. You aren't being cringe or dramatic. You're just surviving. Your subconscious, the deep part of your brain that processes data way faster than your conscious brain does, it knows things before you know things. Just trust it. Anyway, I'm still kind of processing it all. It was all a crazy wake-up call, but I'm just grateful I'm still here to talk to you guys. Stay safe out there, bros. Pay attention. Talk to you later. Peace.